Hello everyone, this is Sheshe and welcome to Friday Flowers. Today's flower looks like this. You will need this template that I will provide in the description box below. It is a PDF. You'll need 2 of the large flowers, 2 of the small flowers. You can cut them out and trace them on some cereal boxes like this. I made them rather simple because we're going to do a technique to give this a jagged edge. So you'll also need, I'm going to go ahead and start cutting and you can watch as I cut, a molding mat and a stylus, gold leafing pen, and some stamens. I have them in cream. This is cream 65-pound weight cardstock. You'll also need some glue. You can have some Wink Stella, that's optional for the pen, and also I did not provide leaves because I have leaf die cuts, but if you want to, you can use your own leaves. I'm going to get started, and we're going to start with giving the petals a jagged edge. So I'm going to just at the tip move my flower up and down as I'm trimming, and that will give the jagged edge. And then you just keep going until you get the desired jagged edge. If you want more of a jagged edge, just go back over and go in. It doesn't have to be a lot, but I did that because sometimes it's hard to cut out a jagged edge when you just draw it. But we can do that with our scissors. You can go in and out and give it more of a jagged edge like that. But it's going to be really pretty when you add the gold leafing pen. And just go in and out. And you just keep going around the flower. We're going to do this to all 4 flowers, but I'm only going to show you 2 examples on the small and the large. This is the large, and we're going to go in and just give it some areas of the petal. You don't have to do a continuous jagged edge. You can just go in and out of the petal, and it'll just give it that natural jagged edge of a flower. So I've gone all around the flower. I'm going to go on to the little smaller one like this and do that as well, because I've already prepped the other 2 to save some time, and also it takes some time for the leafing pen to dry. And I'll show you what I do around the edges with the gold paint pen. And then we'll also put a little bit of gold on the stamens just to give it a nice look. That's kind of the trend going on right now. It started, I believe, last year or maybe a couple years ago, I don't know, but I just like that look. And you can do this at home and make as many flowers as you want. Some of these type of flowers in the store can be very expensive, so you just go all around. And you know, if I decide to go, I don't know, it just depends on how well you guys like this series. I can try to do it every Friday. I'll make some bigger flowers because I noticed at some of the big box stores that the big flowers are like $5 for 1 flower. So I know I had a request a long time ago to try to make bigger flowers because you know, those flowers, the big ones, are like really expensive. Like just for 1 flower, $5 is kind of pricey. So I'll try to draw out a pattern for a big flower. I think maybe it was 4 inches wide. And then even I've had some comments on my Instagram page when I posted a picture of this flower that I was thinking of trying to design, just like the flower I saw in the store in Canada. One of my followers said, you know, they have to pay $8.49 for this flower. So I was like, wow. I thought $5 was a bit much, but $8 for one flower is a lot. So again, this flower is 2 3/4 of an inch wide. So I've already gone around the flower with all the jagged edging. So next is the molding of the flower with our stylus. So this is where you'll need some type of cushion, mouse mat, or if you have the McGill pad, it's about this thick. And then I have the stylus. I may need to upgrade, but this has been doing me very well. So for the large flower, we're going to do some techniques to it, but what I want to do first is just mold it like this, and then we're going to do some other techniques to it. And this just helps break up the fibers because we're going to do some creasing and folding to give it that wavy look. This is just going to help break up the fibers. So we're just going to do that. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. So I'm just going to go around this flower, all the petals, and just do this to break up the fibers. So for this technique, I'm just going to fold this, like give it a creasing, and this gives it just a wavy pattern. And we're just going to, like, it would help if it was a little bit damp, but I don't want it to be wet. I just want it to give this fold like that. So we're just going to pinch it just a little bit and give it that wave in 3 spots of the petal. I tried it when it was wet and it just didn't look right to me. So I thought if we do it just dry, it'll look better. And with my sample, that's what I did. I did it dry and it turned out really well. But when I did it wet, I didn't like what happened when it dried. So that's why I'm doing it dry. No dampness, or I mean, I even gave it 1 spray and it still didn't turn out right. So, well, I mean, in my opinion, it didn't turn out right. You can try with water if you find this hard to pleat. You know, pleating or pinching or whatever you want to call this technique. So I'm just pinching in like 2 spots to give it like what looks like 3 pleats or folds going around. When you put it together, it'll look how the other example, my sample, looks. So we have it all pleated around, and then for the center, I'm going to just give it a little bit of molding like that. Okay, now we're going to take a leafing pen and give it some gold because it needs time to dry for us to put everything together. And I do have a little bit of gold paint on my hand, so excuse that if you see it. I didn't want to get my mat dirty, so that's why I'm over this glass mat. But here I am putting the gold around the edges like this. So you're going to do that for all the petals, just around the edges with the paint pen. or leafing pen, whatever you want to call it. You can go as thick as you want, or just do the edges just so that you can see it. You can do it like that. Give it a little bit more color, like that. But it looks kind of like, you know, the flowers you see in the stores. And I hope I said we will need a little piercing tool so that we can, you know, put the stamens in the middle. Now I will not be using a hot glue gun or anything because it just makes the flower bulky. But you can use whatever glue you feel you have in your stash. Because once you apply the stamens and all that, it just, I'm using tape to tape down the stamens. Okay, I think that's probably enough. See if I can get some more paint out of this marker. Yeah, just a little bit more. Okay, so I think that's enough just to give it a little bit of gold around the edges. And for the other flower, what we will do is cup it up. So I'm going to mold this flower like so. While the other flower is drying. And then we'll start putting the layers together. And that'll give hopefully this flower time to dry. And we're going to start from the bottom up. Okay, so this is what we have. And I'm just going to turn this over and give it a slight molding in the center, like that. So it's just not so big of a cup. Alright, and then I'm going to also put some gold around the edges of this one. Like this. So again, all 4 flowers of the, you know, each layer is edged in gold. And again, the stamens are edged in gold as well. I did do that ahead of time to save time, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, that's what that looks like. And we are done with our gold marker. Okay, here are the stamens. And how I etched them in gold, so it has a cream and gold tint to them. And I have about 8, I'm sorry, it's 8 altogether, but it's 4, and I just have them bunched like that. So it'll show 8, but it's just 4, and they're folded over to make 8. Alright, so here I have one that I did before, and then we're going to offset this and glue it together. And this will be our bottom layer. So here I have my glue, and we're going to start gluing. And then hopefully this glue will dry very quickly so that we can use our piercing tool to pierce a hole through all the layers at once so that we can start applying the stamens in the middle. Okay, like that. Alright, so I'm going to let that glue dry, and going to take a chance. Hopefully this paint is dry enough. If I get it on my hands, then that's okay. So I already have gold on my hands. And we're going to offset this as well. Just put a little bit of glue in here like that, and offset these like so. Okay, this is what I have. And then we're going to put this on top of this one. And it's kind of an offset, but it's really hard to get it to offset. Alright, so we're going to let that dry for a moment, and then I'm going to show you my piercing tool. It is right here. And I have some Stylus for the shine. And here are my leaves right here to go on the back. And then I have my little circle. And that's pretty much all I need. Just gonna do some cleanup right here. And I'll be back. I'm just going to give this time to dry, and then we'll complete our flower. Okay, we're ready to finish up our flower, and what you'll do is pierce the flower with your piercing tool like so. Just want to make a big enough hole for all the stamens to fit in. You can use whatever tool you like maybe a punching tool. Just want to make a hole big enough. So I believe that's big enough for the hole. So I'm going to thread all of them through. This is what they look like. Okay, I'll just thread these through, just poke them through the hole that we pierced. And once you get them through the hole, you get them down to about that length where the flower is. Then you just tuck them on the back, and then you get a piece of tape and tape them to the back like so. Okay, like that. Then you get a pair of scissors, and then just cut it off. You know, cut this part off. I'm just going to go to the side and trim that off. And then this is where you need your hole punch to cover up the back. So what I'm going to do is get some glue dots right here, and then just take a glue dot and cover up the workings of that so nobody has to see it. It's just not pretty to me. So there you go. So if you need to glue this on to something, you don't have to see those little strings hanging off the back. And then here are your stamens. They're just, you know, you just fluff them up. Like so. Okay? Like that. Alright. Then you just take your leaves and glue them on the back. So that's what we'll do right now. Just glue them on. And then we'll just glue on this one. Alright, and then there is your flower. Then you can add some Stella to give it some sparkle. I put some on the leaves too. Give it some shine. All right. Okay, two of these stamens are irritating me. Let's see if I can pull them through a little bit. All right, got that worked out. Okay, this is what it should look like. There we go. Okay, so here is that one and here is the other one. So very pretty flowers to add to your projects. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it wasn't too long of a tutorial, but this is how you make the flower. And again, the PDF is at the description box below. And enjoy. So take care, everyone, and have a fabulous day.